attitude level, is a
Mhm.
pushback and a pull. And it's like, you don't have to be like that with your person.
Yeah,
But they,
exactly.
they,
But
go ahead.
there are there are people who are so used to arguing that even if like you can go a period of time without arguing, and then they want to push your button to try and get a reaction. So I'm just hoping she's not one of those type of people where she then starts to create the arguments that she misses, because that's gonna obviously turn David away from her, but also it's game playing, isn't it? Like you're trying to trigger stop someone just so they can react, so that you can be like, that's what I'm used to now.
Right.
Not a good strategy.
Right. Because that's how she's sounding, but she hasn't had to create the drama. I'm like, there's drama around you already. And he's trying to calm the drama, but you haven't been
Mhm.
reacting to outside drama, but it seems like you like inside drama.
Yeah, and let's be real, a lot of the drama is about Alyssa. It's not her doing, but it's the fact that she has these toxic, insecure members of the cohort that keep trying to pick on her and her relationship, and it's been going on since they've met. So the drama's there, and there's been more than enough. So I'm not sure why she would miss, those things happening in a relationship. She should be thankful that at least they're happening externally rather than in the relationship with the person she's been matched with.
Right. Because we find out, y'all, in the Friends and Family Week, her friend comes and tells her, hey, Beck has been trying to dig up dirt. That's why this episode is called Digging Up Dirt. Beck is trying to dig up dirt in Adelaide, which is their hometown, and try and bring dirt on Alyssa on the show.
Exactly.
So that whole thing is going out of control. But David handled it well. He said, Beck, I need you to stop. I heard you've been doing this. And Becca's like, I haven't been doing anything. He's like, well, hey, we shall see. But he don't like her. He don't like her apology. He's like, yeah, her apology is a load of crack until I see her behavior changes.
Yeah, because you have to really despise someone to want to go and fish around. They may have a few mutual friends from the area, but they're not like, I think they've met each other in passing twice. But you have to really hate someone or be, have severe disdain for them, or disdain, as Juliette says. You have to have a lot of disdain for them to go and try and dig up stuff in order to try and bring it to the show, to try and air out, to embarrass them. That's a level of immaturity and maliciousness. Yeah, like you're willing to try and smear that person. Man, it's crazy. So Beck, I'm not sure why Beck's still here, because she's obviously a troublemaker, and I do like the way David handled it. I also like the way Alyssa handled it, because when she was told by this mutual friend or whatever that she's been sniffing around, she took it quite well. She didn't just spaz out and say, okay, well, I'm going to do the same, I'm going to match fire with fire. So they both handled it with grace. And I think they're doing the right thing by not spending too much time with these particular people that don't like them. Why buddy up to them? Why be fake? You don't like me, I don't like you. We don't need to be around each other.
Right. And in that vein, Alyssa and David, y'all, they have decided to stay in the experiment. Okay. I loved her top knot bun this week, and I liked his green shirt. They really look very nice this week. Extra nice. But yes, they have both decided to stay. It's about the relationship and what they are building, and not about all the drama people are trying to drag them into.
Mm-hmm.
So that was Alyssa and David. Now, since we are on Alyssa, David, we're going to use them to segue into the next couple. Okay. The one who was trying to dig up dirt on her. Danny and Beck this week, friends and family. Beck's
Yeah.
daddy was there, okay? And
Mhm.
daddy looked at Danny and said, "Hey, did you say that about that other girl? Why are you saying something about some other girl is more your type?" And Danny spoke truth to her father and looked him in the eye and said, "No, sir, I didn't say it." I'm not sure I believe it, but I don't know. I don't know Danny well enough. But
Yeah.
he said in the past, Danny said in the past, he would have left with all this back and forth, but he is in this, he is really in this. What did you think? We didn't see too much about them. What did you think about Danny and Beck this week? Because they were kind of calm, and it looked like Danny was hoping that the calm stayed.
Yeah, as he should, because every week's been a nightmare with Beck. So I think the meeting of the family, her father seems like a very serious dude, and I think Danny was a nervous wreck because when the father asked him, "So how do we know what was said?" He could have just said, "Listen, I know what was said because I didn't say what they accused me of." Simple. But the way Danny kind of phrased it, it was like, you sound like you could have actually said something. Yeah. So the dad was sat there looking very unconvinced. Now, as we've mentioned, not only on this review, but previous ones, Beck is incredibly insecure. And how she relayed the story and how she relayed the information, she omits a lot of stuff that would have played more of a critical factor in why things transpired the way they did. Her summary was basically, "Oh yeah, well, we've been having arguments, and that's because he said he liked Gia outside of the experiment." No, that's not what happened. You've been causing a lot of chaos. You've been doing a lot of things to make Danny look at you sideways and think, you're not here for the right reasons. You're here to get in everybody else's business and to argue with everyone, but you're not actually looking at, trying to get our relationship in a better place. So yeah, the dad, he seems like he's protective of his daughter anyway. He's got like a couple of kids there, and but he seems like he's ready to ride for her. If she said something, he's going to instantly believe what Beck says. So Danny was in a tough situation, but he got out of it well. I just think he should have been more assertive in saying, "No, I didn't say that. They're making up stuff. They're trying to play on Beck's insecurity. Gia and Beck don't like each other, so Gia has found a way to get under Beck's skin. That's all it is. I didn't actually say it."
Right. I think so too. I think that was correct. He should have said it like that. At least, as Munira says, that Danny was nice. I would have said it's your daughter's fault. She and Gia beefing and using my name to piss your daughter off. I would have asked the father, well, when Beck is kind of spiraling, what can I do to kind of help her reel it in? I would have asked that. When she gets mad and she's angry, how do I reel it in? And it may be that daddy ain't never seen her pop off. I mean, that's a possibility.
I think that's probably it. Dad hasn't seen her in a relationship capacity. Dad knows her as daddy's little girl. So when she's spiraling into these insecure rants and all these monologues that she does, he doesn't necessarily see that side of her. When she comes back around him, she's daddy's little girl again. Yes, but when she's out in her relationship, yeah.
Daddy, didn't mean to me. Not knowing that your daughter was also throwing stuff in people's direction.
The daughter is instigating the stuff. Why are you digging up, stuff on people for? Daddy doesn't know that about. Doesn't know the shady side. He doesn't know how she went and torched everybody's relationship at the dinner party last week. Daddy doesn't know none of that.
We need an interview with Beck's dad. After the show, I want to see his reaction based on what he has seen of his daughter's behavior.
Yeah, that would be interesting. And what he has to say about it.
Yes. Love to see it. Any of the friends and family, I would love to see what they think about the behavior of their folks. Even though it's an edited, produced show, we always say that here. What did you think
Yeah.
about, the pieces that you saw of your friend or your daughter in
Because
this instance?
as we've also said, you have to give them the material to be able to edit it.
Right.
It's not AI. It's actually you saying it, but they might chop out a little bit, but you said what you said. So
Right.
you have to own it.
Right. Now, what we did see is that they're both decided to stay for another week. And she did write what she said was my love in Greek.
Yeah,
They were cuddled up on the couch, but love, really? Love? What are we doing?
What is Danny
We in
doing?
love?
What is Danny doing? Danny, you need to be writing Leo. Like,
And
what
you
are
want
you
to be
staying
seen.
for? Yeah, but why? Why? She's gonna make you look worse, bro. This is not the last time we're gonna see Beck do these things to antagonize the people she doesn't like.
Oh,
Her
no,
and
it's
Gia are
coming.
not exactly. Her and Gia are not automatically gonna be cool. Her and Alyssa are not gonna be cool. Like, what are we doing? In fact, they're gonna add another one to their group. Juliette, she's gonna join the group. So yeah, man. I don't know why Danny keeps on putting stay when he's seen more than enough to get out of there.
Sam has an interesting question. Which one is worse, an AI or a diabolical edit?
I would say AI. Why? Because AI, man, it can have you saying the complete opposite of what you said. Whereas the edit, they have to chop up what you actually said to make it coherent. So you can hear certain chops. But with AI, it can give you a different accent, different tonality, different expression. I should know. I've tried it. I know you see my Instagram.
Yes, if you all check out his Instagram.
You told me off the other day. You're like, why did you say it yourself?
Right. He
I
has
was like,
Instagram on saying something, and I'm like, why are you letting AI talk for you? Speak for yourself.
right. But the thing is, I didn't even write any speech prompts. I literally just used my photograph. I just scanned my photograph, and then all it did, it animated it, and it looked at what I was wearing, what my background was like, and it gave me this American accent saying, "Hey, I just closed the deal," and I was like, "That's not even me. Sounds nothing like me."
Yeah, I'd rather let AI do the fictitious stuff that we know is fictitious. Like if you all know with the Game of Thrones stuff and the sci-fi stuff I do, I have an AI. My members have an AI thing with the 3 dragons. I do that, not regular stuff. It's like I'm give you to speak for me. But yes, the AI would definitely be because it can be made something that never existed, make it into existing. Whereas the edits, it did exist, is just chopped and screwed into something else.
Exactly.
That's where I have a huge issue with the AI, especially if it's AI of that. Like if I did your photo like that, is where I have an issue. I think you should be the one to augment your image and likeness however you want within AI, but I don't think anyone else should do it, or have the permission to do it. That's my thing.
I agree.
But yeah, y'all check out his social media. You'll hear his American accent. Next up, we're saving Juliette and Joel for last, okay?
Okay.
So let's go for Stephanie and Tyson. Y'all, they did not have a friends and family week because again, they are a new couple. And with being, I'm gonna mute you, sir. With being a new couple, Stephanie and Tyson had to do the wedding task or the task for couples. And he said he did get curious. But one thing they did, happened at the luncheon they had was that we found out Tyson has been corresponding with his ex, okay, with an ex. Well, we didn't bring that up on the couch, did we? We didn't even talk about that on the couch. So she did acknowledge that he paid for every date, and he says he's the gift that keeps on giving. She says she started to suppress what she would say to avoid arguments, and that's how they have been going along. But in his video interview, he did bring up the gay topic. The gay topic of keep that behind closed doors. Don't push that on me and push it on us. Where Sam says, hey, awareness is not pushing it on you. Now you're trying to suppress us. Now, they did realize that he only responds to John, the expert, and says, John says, is there ever a filter? Tyson says, I'm just honest. When they brought up the submission word, Tyson said, I haven't said that in ages. John said, you said it last night. So they're talking about how easily he disrespects women. It's not just disrespect. I think Tyson is also very dismissive of women. He doesn't want to hear from the ladies experts, or he just dismisses what they say, but he thinks he's being portrayed to be a bad guy. And Stephanie thinks it's Tyson's way or the highway. But he said, hey, I'm done bickering. I don't see a future with this person. I don't want to be around her. This is BS. I'm done with this experiment. And Tyson decides, y'all, yeah, see you guys. I'm leaving. Where Stephanie proceeds, the top right picture of Stephanie is her tossing her ring, and you hear the ring clacketing. And then she is crying on expert Mel Schilling, about what just transpired with Tyson. Okay. What were your thoughts on what was happening with these two?
Yeah, Tyson had an epic meltdown. So he doesn't like pressure. He doesn't like his views being questioned or challenged. Even in an objective way, when there's no agenda behind it, he always seems to think there's an agenda and a motive to want to shut him down. Now, this couple are very weird to me anyway. They both have an affinity for the US current president, the commander-in-chief. That was one of the things they have in common, which is very weird because they're from Australia. No. Right. So I understand he did spend some time in the States. He was in Utah for a while, but still, that is crazy. Anyway, yeah, he seems to have been watching a lot of, I want to say, Andrew Tate, Manosphere type, not even Manosphere, Red Pill type content.
Yeah.
And he takes a lot of their tropes and their talking points, and it may resonate with him, but he regurgitates a lot of the stuff that they talk about. And so when he talks about submissive and all these different things, I'm like, that's not really what's happening in Australia, surely. Because that's exactly, that's a discussion that we see in the US more than anywhere else, about submission and, alpha and I'm a leader and I'm the dominant and all this. Anyway, so he's taken a lot of that stuff. He's been quite indoctrinated. And then he struggled to connect in this marriage with his wife. Because like we said last week, she is on paper, she's exactly what he said he was looking for, but he's found so many ways to discredit the relationship. Now, this past week, it looked like they turned a corner. There were a couple of scenes where it looked like, they'd hugged it out and they were talking and they were warming up to each other a little bit. But nah, when it got to, by the time we reached the dinner party, even the experts, by the time we got to the experts, he was like, nah, I'm done. I'm out. I'm finished. And he got up and left. He wished everyone well. Yeah, you're not all bad people. I'm not a bad person. I just had enough. I'm done. Yeah, so I think he just buckled under the pressure. bit of a coward's way out, if you ask me. And I didn't see anything to warrant Stephanie being spoken to or treated like that.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm with Munira. She's in the comment section. Stephanie shares the same beliefs he has.
Yep.
Yet she is airing him out in front of everyone about that belief. She had the same belief on putting that, your thoughts on this woke ideology. It's the same thing. She talked about it. And it's the same thing with pushing your gay agenda in our face. So when she is in front of everybody, Stephanie is acting woke. I mean, let's get it for real. I mean, if I was Tyson, I'll be like, am I in the Twilight Zone? Y'all told me, and she also said in her interviews, she ain't woke. She don't like this woke thing. I need to know how woke we talking, because she may be woke and he's all the way to woke. Because it was like they align on several things they said, but then all of a sudden, I'm woke now. All of a sudden, Stephanie woke when we get to the couch. When we get to the dinner party, she woke. But when she home with him, she's not. I just felt it disingenuous.
Yeah, no, I do kind of see that as well, actually. And where she went woke, he walked. He went, I'm walking. So like he picked it up, and yeah, I just think they struggled to gel anyway, despite the things they had in common. There was something about his cadence, his awkwardness. It looked like he was always struggling to try and connect. So yeah, he just rage quit, as they call it.
Yeah, he did. At least he told them, I'm going back to the Gold Coast. I'm done with this. I'm leaving. At least he said it. Brooke just bailed and left. Her groom, Chris, just bailed and left. At least he sat there. He didn't want to take it anymore. But here's the other thing. I don't think he wants to learn. Because at the dinner party, when Sam said, I'm expecting 2 kids, and then he really looked at Tyson like, is that okay with you? Tyson also said in his confessional, I don't know how this thing works. How is he expecting a kid? But he doesn't ask Chris. He doesn't ask Chris about his expecting a kid. How are you expecting these 2 kids? He doesn't want to learn. Because then I'm sure Chris would have said, hey, this is how it's coming.
Yeah, but he don't want to know because he's not woke. Again, that's some woke behavior as far as he's concerned. He's quite repulsed by that. Like, he knows men can't biologically give birth. So he's just like, I don't want to. The less I hear about it, the better my sanity is going to be. So he's not interested. And to be honest, that's Sam's relationship. Him and his partner need to work that out. Tyson doesn't have to be on board with that, to be honest, because it has no impact on the relationship whatsoever.
He doesn't have to want that. My thing is, it's a good topic to talk about surrogacy, because even though Tyson is with Stephanie, there's no guarantee they can have children. So knowing about a surrogacy journey or another option of having kids is certainly enlightening. So what is he going to say if he and Stephanie can't, or he and his partner can't have kids? I just don't know anything about any other option.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to hear about it from 2 men. If he's with a lady and they can't get pregnant, then that's different, because you're going to have that conversation about surrogacy with your lady. What he doesn't want to do is pry into this relationship with 2 men who he's probably anti their whole relationship anyway, even though in public he's saying one thing, yeah, listen, I have gay friends, but I'm not gay myself, and like all that stuff. But yeah, he doesn't want to hear about that type of stuff from a guy's perspective. If he does cross that road, that bridge, then obviously he would prefer to have that conversation with a woman rather than having 2 men. That's the impression I've got.
Golly, it's almost the same. But y'all, while Tyson was talking, I put this picture up. This is how everybody's facial expressions were while Tyson was talking about this whole stuff. Everybody was just shocked. Even expert John on the bottom right is like, oh, yeah, this ain't good. This is not good. And as I showed you all before, they came and they were sitting on the couch now. Look at Tyson's little scowl. It was hard for me to find a still or to pause the show without Tyson's tongue being out. Tyson is constantly licking himself. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You don't want to hear that, JR. But then y'all, again, Tyson decides to leave. Bye, you guys. I'm out. Yeah, see you guys. And this is Stephanie. I don't know why Stephanie was crying. I don't understand why she was crying. It's not like she wanted
feeling
the
of
man to
rejection,
stay.
probably. So really,
Probably.
feeling of rejection. It didn't work. She came on the show to find love, and it didn't happen.
Thank you for schooling me, because I was like, girl, why are you crying? He gone. So, okay. Y'all, should we do a drum roll with actual drumsticks?
Well, we're not going to use what Joel used. That's for sure.
Okay, for the last couple, Joel and Juliette. Now, y'all, this week I have a few photos for y'all. Okay, now they had different challenges
of the drumstick replacements.
No, I can't show that. I can't show that. I can't show that. And I showed it on my member live on Monday nights. If you are a member, I did play. I did not with the music. Jesse's mom's got it going on is what he was drumming, but he was using dilly does as drumsticks, and I showed it in my member live. Okay. So here's the photos I can show. Okay, JR, stop behave yourself. Okay, this was Juliette's choices when they were asked to rank the other couples or rank the other people. Juliette, this is how she put the men in rank, and I wanted us to see that. Okay, this is how Juliette viewed the men. David is first, Philip is second, Scott is third. She did place Joel as fourth. Y'all see that there. Then Danny, then Steve-O, then Tyson is last. Though Tyson's toxic behavior matches her very well. So this week, y'all, it was wild. This week, while talking, Juliette believed they had a good week. They had a few good moments. Okay. They had a few good moments together. Joel's like, yeah, but when it got bad, it was really bad. Now, he says that she has talked down to him, constant sabotage. You have no respect for me. And he talked about when she said, you have devil eyes. Now, she says she's just going to call it how she feels. He said not once has he retaliated or insulted her at all. And we have seen that he hasn't come at her. Juliette says you should apologize to me and take accountability. Okay, because he is the one that was on a smear campaign with you guys. But we didn't see no smear campaign, and we saw her talk to the producers before the dinner party to say she was going to ruin him for everyone else. And it's because of the star comment, she was making everybody believe that she was making up the star comment. She was misinterpreting him, y'all. While she's like, Joel said, I'm a star. He actually said, you don't see the star in me, the metaphor. You don't see the light that is within me. You don't see how I do shine and shine brightly. And she thinks he was condescending and belittling her. But the expert John had to reel her in and said, you were ugly, mean, and cruel. You called him a liar. You said he wasn't a man. You were embarrassing. You called him unattractive. You were trying to destroy his character. And he didn't say not one negative thing about you. And you should never talk to your partner this way. It's inappropriate and unacceptable. Alessandra, the expert, said it was vile. And if you talk like that in public, how are you talking to this man behind closed doors? Unkind is putting a lot of sugar on it. And all I hear is you justifying your behavior. You have no shame. no remorse. There is no apology. And she's like, yeah, but I say unkind things in the heat of the moment. And Lysandra says, those are all excuses. All excuses. But she does apologize, y'all. Okay? She does apologize. I need to show y'all how people were looking at her when she was talking. This is the expression on everyone's face when she was apologizing today. Because she clicked her tongue before she apologized. And she apologized to the group. To the group. Not to him. And that's when Stephanie's like, you need to apologize to Joel. I'm about to. Joel said, I thought I was going to be first. And she's like, Joel, I said wrong things and I don't feel that much hatred towards you. Maybe I was watered down and exhausted and it came out disgusting. I'm sorry for hurting your feelings. And, you are a man. And they're like, Joel is like, I do not accept your apology. That was insincere. And you've been like this since day one. And all the experts said, you have a toxic fighting style. And Alessandra said, why would you say, I don't feel that much hatred towards you? That's not how you apologize.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get to the end. Let me get to showing them what happened in the end. And then I'll let you rip through it because I know you want to rip through it. Here are a few pictures, more pictures, y'all. This was before they went there. She was insulting his teddy bear even before we got to the commitment ceremony. She was still there. She was still talking about his teddy bear. That he acted this way because he didn't have his teddy bear with him. And he wrote leave, y'all. But she wrote stay. And y'all know if one person writes stay, you are to stay for another week. He said, I have too much self-respect not to write leave. Yet she wrote stay. And that's when I knew she was here for clout and not here for him. Have at it, JR.
Okay. So, first of all, I will say, first and foremost, there is no reason or way why Joel should be writing stay after the week he's experienced with Juliette. She has done nothing but try to tarnish him, insult him, embarrass him, and also intentionally misconstrue things he said so that she can make him look worse in front of the experts and the rest of the group. So she completely misrepresented him. There were times in the challenges where they were supposed to do tasks together. She refused to do tasks. She refused to look at him. She would make, she said, no, I don't want to look at you. You've got devil eyes or something like that. He said, okay, how about a hug? That was another part of the task. She said, no, you're not touching me. So she's completely pushed him away, shut him down, and was repulsed. Now, this all started at the wedding, but it festered because they're one of the recent couples. They've only been on the show for maybe 2 weeks. So when the video came out that he did while playing the drums, for those who don't know, Elsid has it on her channel on the members only. So basically, he had some dilly-dos, I think they're called, Elsid, and he was drumming along to some music, which to me, I can't give the exact words I would use because I'm not trying to get anybody shadow banned or get the video ruined. But, that was quite despicable. That was quite, put it this way, I would see no reason why, because I'm not woke. So I would see no reason why I would want a pair of those things to use as drumsticks. I don't see no reason why I'd even have those in my possession, to be honest. But he does. And when he was playing the drums with them, he was having fun. He thought it was lighthearted or thought it was a joke or whatever. But to her, it was embarrassing. So that was one of the main things that pushed her over the edge with him. And then, you know, he is very performative. He is very flamboyant. And she doesn't like his personality either. So, but that doesn't give you the right to fly off the handle to the point where you're disrespecting him and insulting him at every single opportunity you get. And when he was saying to her, you know, I don't think you made any effort. I don't think you see the star in me. Yeah. She really took that intentionally the wrong way. He wasn't saying, I'm the star of the show. And that's what she went around saying. Oh, he thinks he's the star of the show, everyone. You know, look at his attitude. He thinks he's a celebrity around here. So she really tried to punish him, and that's not what he said. He's saying, you don't recognize the person I am. You are angry and ticked off about personality traits and things like that, but you don't see me for who I am. That's pretty much what he was saying. You keep trying to break me down, keep trying to insult me, cuss me out, antagonize me, and you're not allowing me to be myself so you can see who I really am. So that was really telling, because he seemed to be very vulnerable at that point when he was expressing that, and she took that and she weaponized it. So fast forward to the dinner party. She couldn't wait to try and embarrass him at every opportunity.
Hold on. Before the dinner party, remember what she did?
Oh, yeah. Yes. What about the teddy bear?
No, before the dinner party, y'all, she went over to where he's staying because they're in separate places, brought a beer, shared some beer, and said, why don't we walk in together and show like we're a united front? Right before knowing she planned to annihilate this man.
Yep, because again, the teddy bear thing, he's got a teddy bear which he's had since a child, and it has some sentimental value to him. So as an adult, it's like a comforter type situation, right? So again, she's weaponized it. It's very unconventional. It's not something that, you know, a lot of people admit to having. Some people have a blanket. Some people have a piece of jewelry or an item that brings a special memory to them, or they hold it dear to them. He has a teddy bear. And that also gave her that it can send her over the edge, because she's embarrassed about that too. And she wants everybody else to know it, that it's an embarrassing thing to have as a grown man. And Gia and a few others commented about how they would destroy the teddy bear. If anybody came to them with a keepsake or something that was sentimental to them, they would destroy it. They'd rip it out in front of their face, and really mean-spirited behavior, right? But anyway, so yeah, Joe is an oddball, but at the same time, he doesn't deserve to be abused. And that's what Juliette tried to do. She tried to mentally abuse, emotionally abuse. It hasn't gotten physical, but it's, you can tell that by what she said to the producer, she is going to intentionally villainize and turn everybody against him. So when it got to the dinner party, that's what her campaign was. She wanted to talk out loud about some of the stuff they discussed in private and have everybody gang up on him and call him a weirdo and a softie and question his sexuality and, run him over. And thankfully, the experts saw it, because that's where the experts get to see most of the interactions at the mixers and the dinner parties. The rest of the week, they don't really get to see much about that. So having seen Juliette's behavior, they knew that it was hot seat time, and they were going to call her out, and they rightfully did. And even when she was getting chastised by the experts for her behavior, she was still trying to play it down and still try to be aloof. And, I didn't say that. And, it wasn't meant that way, and all these different things. No, now you're lying and gaslighting the experts, because it was clear as day what you said. And Joel has a right to not be as forgiving, because he's given her multiple opportunities to try and rein in her behavior. He's pointed out what she's done, and he said, listen, I'm still prepared to try, And she's gone even further by pushing him away, not doing the tasks, not connecting with him. So I can see why Joel was like, listen, I'm leaving. You know, I'm writing leave. I'm very surprised that she picked stay, because the level of disdain that she showed towards Joel, why would you write stay? To punish him even further. Yeah, you're not going to be able to save face. I'm sorry. You're not going to be able to fake it till you make it. You've already done too much in that week span, which showed your real intentions and your true feelings towards him. So you should have written leave so that the both of you can go off on your own way. You can go and eat humble pie and eat some crow because of the way you treated him. But no, you want to stick the boot in even more and rub it in his face. Anything she does to try and let's wipe the slate clean. Let's pretend last week didn't happen. Joelle, don't believe her for 1 single second. You know, she's very duplicitous. She's probably got a malicious agenda. And because I know, just from seeing how she reacted, she's not going to be happy with being called out. Yeah. Right. So she's going to take it up a notch. She's looking for a big finale to end you, Joel. So yeah, she should have written leave. I think it was very diabolical of her to have written stay. She doesn't like him. She's expressed it verbally. She's shown it by pushing him away. She's turned the group against him. What more do you need to do? You know, just pack your bags and go. So I really thought Juliette was gone. Thought Joelle was gone. Unfortunately, they're here for another week.
Right. And y'all, we're saying distinct with a T at the end because that's what Juliette says. She has distinct for him. She said that at the dinner party, at the table. And Joel is like, disdain? We were all a little bit confused. So we need you need to make a t-shirt. Somebody in Australia needs to. But she's being roasted in Australia, y'all. When I tell you roasted, the mean girls are being roasted on an open flame. Because now she sees the footage. Now she knows exactly what was said. But she was, before the episode aired, her social media was going around saying, wait till y'all see what Joel actually did. Until she only recently knows. And they dropped the footage on her on a taped interview. So you got her shocked expression. So y'all, whoever's doing this, whoever's doing the production of Married First Sight Australia, y'all have certainly turned it up a notch. But here's the other thing that I liked. The ending of this commitment ceremony, Joel said one thing. Joel said, you set the boundaries on the second day of marriage. You didn't want to cohabitate. You didn't want to sleep in the same bed, whatever. But I'm setting my boundaries now. I will not tolerate any disrespect. And there's no second chances. It's one time. I will not tolerate any disrespect. But the expert John said, my biggest worry is that what we have said today is fallen on deaf ears. What were your thoughts on when they wrap this up?
Yeah, I agree with John. I think the fact that she heard all of that and decided to write stay means, like I said, she's tuned it out. I don't think she wants to make amends. Looking at the social media aspect, she hangs around with the mean girls. She's with Gia and Brooke and older Rebecca as well. So, you know, they've got their little mean girl clique. It's no coincidence that all of them, and Mel as well, yeah. It's no coincidence that all of them except Mel have been hostile on the show. Mel just didn't like her guy and made him pay for not being attractive to him or whatever. Luke, yeah, she just never forgave him.
She's just a quiet hostile. She's been hostile. She just quiet about it.
Right, she's quiet about it, where the others are more vocal. And but yeah, so you look at who the Mean Girl squad are, and you're like, you know, birds of a feather flock together. So even though she wrote stay this time, I think the retreat is coming up next. And that's going to be interesting because, again, we have Joel not wanting to be there, not seeing much hope or anything. So I'm going to be interested to see how she convinces him after hearing the feedback from John and the rest of the experts, how she goes about trying to change her character arc on the show.
Well, y'all, these are all the couples. These are all the couples. We're all staying. And I did have
Except
on the
Tyson and
side,
Stephanie.
well, except for, yeah, Tyson and Stephanie. And I do have a running tally of who has left on my shoulder here. So y'all know exactly who left and who's gone. I'm going to add Stephanie and Tyson to that list, but that is as much room as I have on my shoulder to put
You're gonna have to do.
who's left.
I'm gonna have to put on my shoulder the other side when they start filling up.
Then I got to cover up the comments, but I understand. But I'll probably change the shade of color for them, you know, down there. I'll figure something out. I'll move them around. But these are the couples, you know, Tyson and Stephanie. I'm really sorry about that, but you know, y'all needed to go. Tyson, you need to go find the young lady in the church, as y'all said before. But I am going to say this. Remember, I did start. Y'all, the reason why we started a little bit different, a little bit off time, because remember, my time leapt ahead. So we trying to synchronize our watches, okay? So is there any couple that I kind of covered before you got here that you want us to spin the block on? That was Philip and Stella. Well, Sam and Chris, Gia and Scott. We did talk Gia and Scott together. We did Alyssa and David together, Beck and Danny, and Tyson and Stephanie. That's it. That's all.
That's it. Yeah. No, nothing else to cover. I mean, Stella is like there's nothing much to cover on their relationship. They're finally about to say the L word, and she left it on him to say the L word first. So they're coasting, man. They look like they're strong.
And Steven's brother got him together.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
So I'm glad he's listening. And in listening to us, JR, you want to tell the folks where they can find you?
JRX TV on IG and Life is Reality on YouTube. JRX TV also on TikTok, but Instagram and YouTube is where you find most of my content. And I look forward to next week's episode because it's going to be spicy this week.
It's going to be spicy, y'all. We're at the retreat, okay? We're at the retreat. Will Phillips say I love you? And apparently a bad joke sends Rachel and Steven running. She is crying and he's running in the opposite direction. And the joke was said by Beck. And apparently there's a couple that actually leaves the retreat with their suitcases. But I don't know if they've left the experiment. They were just like, we can't stay here tonight. So there's a lot of fireworks coming up for the retreat, but we will be here again next week. As y'all, please pay attention to my uploads. I am recapping Blue Therapy in uploads in the, little bit by little bit. Each couple giving you like a minute or a minute and a half. And then I'm going to do a full recap in the week. Also at 5 p.m. EST today, I'll be covering Married Love is Blind, Ohio. The weddings happened, and we'll be watching the reunion live on Wednesday at 9 p.m. EST. But Monday is our messy member Monday. I'm not usually messy, but the members are. But we gonna be messy this Monday. We're gonna be messy, okay, together. But y'all, thank y'all so much for being here. We will be here next week again. I appreciate all of you. And as I always say, I'll see you on the next one.